Hello and welcome to a very, very, very special stream right here. This is one of the community streams that is now a regular fixture as part of Parallel engaging with the community. And I'm very honored that Fitch and Veen, the real life paragons in Parallel, are here today honoring my stream. And I also want to say this is the first time that I've ever had guests on the stream. So not only is that a special thing that we've got Fitch and Veen, but it's going to be special for me because they're my first ever guests. And yeah, hopefully we get more on in the future. So Veen, Fitch, how are you doing, guys? Welcome in.
Great, man.
Doing well. I'm just tweeting it out right now.
Nice, thank you.
Good call.
We've also got
I will go retweet you.
We've also got lots of activity happening in the chat, guys. So I've put it in the chat that if you want to use this opportunity, and I would absolutely recommend that everybody tries to use this opportunity as much as possible. When you get guys like Fitch and Veen, and you get the opportunity to ask them questions, go for it, and we'll try and pump them for some leaks as well. I'll do my best to see if we can squeeze anything out of them. But basically today, we're just going to be talking about past, present, and upcoming things for Parallel related. We'll also be talking a little bit about potentially Wayfinder. And we're just going to be, I guess, the purpose of these community streams is to just try and bridge that gap between the information that's happening internally, the information that goes to some of the ambassadors when ambassadors have calls, and to just try and bring the community in the loop on what's happening with the products and the games that they love in Parallel. So welcome in everybody, and let's get started. So how do we start today? What's the topic that we want to kick off with then, Fitch and Veen?
I think probably Veen can start on game stuff if he wants. I don't have a super specific agenda for my stuff, but I was considering doing a little giveaway or something,
nice.
Maybe. So
I was hoping you'd say that. Yeah, I'm kind of, what sort of giveaway are we talking about here, Fitch?
Well, I mean, starts with an A. So
ooh.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. So I think we can all guess what that is. It's an apparition pack. There you go.
Yeah. No, imagine getting rugged like that. That's so funny.
Yeah. But no, like that's absolutely amazing. We're going to do that at the end, I guess, right? Just so that people stick around, and like we'll finish on a high note. So guys, you've heard it from the man himself. Stick about. You're going to win an A. Potentially one of you will win an A, and we'll fix that at the end. So hello to Jeremy, hello to Captain, hello to Blue Core as well, Bved, Vinci, Fierce is in here. Hello to Fierce, one of the new players that's come over from Hearthstone. Really nice to see. We've been spending a bit of time just getting him up to speed. So many of you guys in here that I see. Also need to say a big shout out to Qflux for the raid, bringing the party with 26 viewers. That's incredible. Thank you so much. Also, shout out to Jeremy, who is, first of all, just a legend in the community, but someone that helped me out as well a little bit. I had a sort of technical issue yesterday, and he was great. He was just so available. So shout out to Jeremy and Rev and Bved, just so many of you guys in here. So let's pass it over to Veen. Veen, should we start by talking about some of the recent changes?
Yeah, sounds great.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
So we've got, with the latest season rollover, we did a hard reset of MMR, and we changed it to 15 placement matches, and we changed our matchmaking algorithm to be in-house versus third-party, and we changed the rankings to be absolute thresholds instead of relative thresholds, which means that if you have a certain amount of MMR, like if you have X MMR, that makes you diamond instead of needing to be part of the top percentage of players. We learned a lot from these changes, and I want to explain some of them in more depth, and explain that they were not all implemented the way that we expected out the gates. So when people noticed yesterday that they were getting placed after 10 matches instead of 15, that was a visual bug. You still do have 5 more matches to play, and then you'll get moved after that. We were displaying the incorrect MMR for people who hadn't yet correctly placed through all of their placement matches.
Okay.
And what else? We also learned that there was an issue with the disconnect penalty that's been resolved.
Okay.
So all of that being said, we did notice that there was a huge uptick in quality of matches and a downtick in the amount of time it takes to make a match. And then with I don't know if you noticed, but today we tweeted that we hotfixed matchmaking again. That also immediately doubled the rate of matches that were being made because we had an error that we're tracking down exactly what the error was doing. We have some theories, but now that we've fixed it, the matches are back to where they need to be. But I would briefly like to touch on the main difference between the the way that we used to calculate matchmaking and the way that we calculate matchmaking now.
Yes.
And the main difference is that the old system that we licensed through Microsoft was primarily unidirectional. And what that means is that if there are two parties waiting for a match and you're evaluating only one party, that's one direction. If you're evaluating both parties, that's bidirectional. And so the old matchmaking would see that there was someone in queue for, let's say, 5 minutes, and it would just assume, okay, I need to get that person a match immediately. And so a silver would queue up, even if this person was a master, and it would match them, because unidirectionally, that's what the algorithm was told to do. Our new system is bidirectional up until 4 minutes, and then at 4 minutes, it expands the range for both candidates. And then at 6 minutes, it becomes hard unidirectional, which means that at 6 minutes, you can get a match that's not of the quality you expect, but it means that you won't be in queue theoretically longer than like 7 minutes, because the next time someone queues, even if they aren't a good bidirectional match, you'll get placed with them and sent into a match.
Okay.
I think that's most of the MMR stuff, but I want to make sure that I go to the chat before we go too far away and get questions on like how this works, why we made the change if anyone's curious. But I also want I would love anecdotal feedback. Like, did people like the reveal after 6 hours? Did people like the new matchmaking algorithm? I know people didn't like the hard reset of MMR, but it had to be done. But like, what experiences did people have? And then also, we are quiet.
Yes.
According to chat.
Okay. I'm gonna up the gain. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I thought you were still quite loud. I'll just up it a lot.
Q is screaming this as well. He's loudly saying fix audio.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? Yeah. Thank you, Flux. Let me know, guys, in the chat if that's better. I don't want to blow your ears out, but it should be louder now. We'll just go to, first of all, Here But I'm Gone. Here But I'm Gone has asked, what's the sentiment amongst the team on how the new MMR system is working so far? Is it working as intended?
So that's a yes and no. We're happy with the fact that we have data and it's first party and we can make changes and it looks like it's already working better. But if you're asking if it's working as intended, no, because it was errored. So it will now be working as intended from today forward, we believe. But it was not working as intended, but we believe that. So we had old matchmaking, new but broken matchmaking, and then new but fixed matchmaking in that order of what we think is good.
Okay. And this is a question for me, will the time that people wait for a match, will that just naturally go down as the player base grows? As the algorithm built like that?
Yeah.
Or is it just, okay, cool.
So
nice.
The way that it works is everyone gets in a queue and is assigned a ticket. And as there are more people to get more tickets for better matches, like as the population grows, that time is just going to plummet. But that does have to come with growth. Like, we need a substantial increase in players for that to feel down on average, just because a small trickle of players will reduce the average by a couple of seconds, but that's not meaningful. Like, people won't see that. Okay,
cool. Yeah, so Here But I'm Gone says, I'm matching only upwards of my rank within a minute, rarely matching players the same rank. But that sounds kind of normal, right?
If he's winning, then that's the case.
Yeah, if you're doing well, then you're going to be most likely matched up with higher rated players, right? Higher ranked players, because it just gets harder, right? Captain says, I think a very frustrating thing is facing the same person consecutively. Right, actually, I agree with this. He says, when playing, is there a way to prioritize a different opponent in matchmaking systems? So one of the things that we saw, it's been happening for a while. I'm not sure if this is part of the change as well, or it's going to be, but there used to be situations where you would maybe face the same player 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Is that something that has been addressed in this matchmaking fix and tweet?
Not in this tweak.
Okay.
So originally we were considering making it so you couldn't face the same Paragon twice in a row. But what we're doing instead is we're looking into, as soon as the population and the code can support it, not doing the same player twice in a row. So we do hear you. We understand. It does prioritize different people, but because the person that you played recently was such a good match and is queuing at theoretically the same time as you, unless someone who is an equivalently good joins the queue within a certain amount of time, that person's just going to be a good match for you. If you don't want to queue, you can wait or have them wait. It's not optimal, but it is the best way to dodge the same person over and over again. But that is something that we are going to solve programmatically for you in the future. I can't say when that will happen because it is population based, but I know that it is on our agenda to make this change.
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes as well, if you face the same person, like say twice, sometimes that's actually okay, because maybe you've lost the first game and then you immediately want to just like go back and get revenge, right? And you might have thought that actually, you know, the first game I probably should have won it, so I really want to get him again so I can right that wrong. But probably like 3-4 times is not ideal. So I'm happy that you guys are thinking about it and looking at doing something in the future for that. That's really cool. Anthrej says, speaking of matchmaking, some people experience being matched against the same player repeatedly dislike the experience. Could we change how this feels by branding the subsequent matches by adding the word rematch with exclamation mark?
Or best of 5, best of 3.
Best of 3, best of 5. That's kind of cool, actually.
Just embrace it. I know you're going to fight the same person over and over again. Let's have this be like, hey, this is game 2.
Yeah, set up a bit of a rivalry, you know? Like a bit of a nemesis.
The idea tickles me. I like the idea.
Yeah.
It's making me smile. I don't know how feasible it is or how reasonable it is, but like, I'm gonna bring that back to the team and see if it's an easy lift. I want to do it. It doesn't. I'm gonna say it. I don't think it's likely because like getting anything into those load screens is currently in exploration, and we want to make sure that we're injecting lore and injecting game tips and things like that. But like, to have it be able to detect and display during that match, like to bring the hype up and sort of make it less of a feel bad. I like the idea. I love the idea.
Yeah. And like, I used to play a game where that actually happened, where you would almost, if you got matched to someone, say 2 or 3 times within a certain time window, they would start to be branded as a rival. So then your rivalry would be created from that, and it just made the games feel much more interesting, because it was like, boom, it came up on the screen like, boom, rival. Like, his it. And I quite like that. I think that's a really cool idea from Anthrej. So yeah, nice one, Anthrej. But Blue Core says bounties still bug out sometimes. They do. Is that something you guys are also seeing, that the bounties, in terms of claiming them, or like just the bounties themselves, seem to be bugged still?
I don't know. I know that so I have less of an insight into the bounties in the experience system. That's handled by other people. I have an idea of what they reward, but not their functionality or whether or not they're working properly. But I do know that if you report a bug by hovering over the report a bug moved, but if you hover over the settings button and then click report a bug and submit it there, or go to the Discord and tag one of the QA folks, we do read those, and that is how we fix bugs. Yeah. So it seems like it goes into a pile of nothing, but I will continue to say it does not go into a pile of nothing. It's, in fact, this is how we make tickets and fix stuff.
Nice. Okay. Let's see. A nice question here. How about the game end? Ask both players if they want a rematch. I think that could be kind of abused a little bit, but like, interesting.
I think
idea.
that the thing is, if both players have to agree, then I get it. But if it's like blank what's a rematch, like, that's something that we haven't discussed. But like, if people think that's cool, that could be cool. I also, like, I don't know, and I'm gonna say, just like, I don't have clarity on this, and I don't know what it looks like. But like, at some point, the game probably wants to have social, and I would love to be able to like have a friends list and chat with people and have an easier way of making private matches. But I think the idea of like rematching someone and then maybe sending them a friend request or whatever, like, that seems like a natural way to like create a way to encounter and befriend people through the software. I don't know. I can see like that also is something where someone's salty and just hits the button and wants to fight you again. But like, you just don't hit the button and you don't engage with that person, right?
Yeah. You just leave them there, like hanging. You're just like, nah. I'm not interested. You're just gonna leave you there. Yeah, cool. Fitch, anything to weigh in on MMR? I know that it's one of your favorite topics.
Oh, dude.
Fries. Fuck you, man. Talking about I'm barely paying attention. I'm messaging Brandon about this topic. Okay, so he's literally here. He's in the chat. Is that Brandon right there? Fuck you, Fries. No, I mean, like, I'll be honest. I have a working understanding of the systems at play here because I've had to develop one. But I think Veen has like a more firm grasp on them, so I'm kind of just letting him talk about it because he understands it at a more complete depth than I do. But yeah, it's a thing that we know is important to get right, and I think there's a lot of different variables at play, right? There's, how much do you want to restrict matchups with like an inherently limited player base while you're literally just began to roll out mobile. In fact, mobile, I would say, is kind of effectively not even really rolled out yet. The version that's out there is still like a repackaged version of PC. And so, what is this problem going to look like 3 months from now? Yeah. And I think Veen did a good job of mentioning that being kind of like an important variable here, being time and the natural growth of the player base. But at the same time, when do you flip that switch of something like preventing same player matchups? It's not as obvious as it may seem. Like, just flip that switch now. So I think he did a good job covering it. I don't have too much to add. I did ping Brandon about it just to be like, hey, what do you think? He was like, I'm literally in the chat right now. So I was like, yeah, then never mind. We'll just kind of have this conversation and see what we come up with.
Yeah, cool. Like, I just want to go back actually just quickly, Veen. You mentioned about the hard reset on the MMR. Like, what's the rationale to do the hard reset? Was that just part of like the matchmaking tweaks that you were making, and it just made sense to do it, or was that what's the rationale? Like, just give us some insight.
We were changing fundamentally a major part of how the leaderboard works. Like, we weren't saying that it was. So it used to be percentage based, where a percentage of the player base would be master, a percentage of the player base would be diamond, a percentage would be platinum, and we were changing it to be hard numbers of buckets. And grandfathering people into those buckets didn't feel fair. And there was also feedback we got from previous seasons where people thought two things were true. One, placement matches were too impactful, and two, once someone got done grinding for the whole day, it was basically impossible to catch them, right? And a hard reset takes part of those things. At the end of every league's open, what we want to do is put everyone at parity, and then we want to say, go forth and figure out where you belong on the ladder. So that's when the hard reset cadence will be. We want to reset everyone to the beginning, because otherwise there's just never a good place to join the league if what you want to do is have a chance at getting top masters. And so we want people to display their skill, and we want people's MMR to matter for quite some time, but this can't be something that's permanent, right? It has to be something that has a seasonal cadence and has a reset. And so we will continue to do soft resets on seasons between opens, but at the end of every open, to make sure that the grounds are fair for everybody to get in, we'll do a hard reset.
So after every open, you'll do a hard reset. Is that what you just said there? Yeah.
Yep.
Nice. Correct. Okay. I have to say that when I read about the hard reset in the blog, I was actually quite happy to read that, especially because of the fact that, as you mentioned, if somebody just grinds like a monster for the first sort of 16 hours of the new season day, then you would just see that like their MMR was just crazy high, and it was like, man, they could almost chill. Like, some people would just chill for the rest of the season, right? Like, do a couple of games here and there, but they would never really feel like their position was massively under threat. So I really like that you made that change, and I like that it's something that's going to be in a routine. So after every open, there's going to be a hard reset. I like that. Really, really cool. Okay. Anything else to add on MMR? I mean, we talked quite nicely about that. Any other questions actually as well that I've missed maybe, or if I have, put them in the chat and we'll ask Veen now. whilst Fitch is taking notes, he's writing the notes for the minutes.
Yeah, I'm just gonna call him Fries to upset him now because it's apparently Freeze. Fries is excluded from the giveaway. He's banned. He's not eligible.
Yeah. So why did I ignore your question, says Tao. Let me, sorry, buddy. Let me just try and scroll back through. It's difficult sometimes when we're talking and just trying to keep up with the chat. I don't see it, Tao, but if you want to just drop it again, we will ask it. BlizzCon says every open means how often, by the way? I think the opens are happening, once every couple of months or so, aren't they? Because you have like an open, then like a minor, a major, and then like an open again. I think that's how it's working. There is the schedule for the Parallel League up on the website. I will drop the link in the chat so you guys can just see the schedule for when the opens are happening. But that was a question from BlizzCon. Hello to BlizzCon, by the way. I hope I don't see you on the ladder anymore, but it's too difficult. Especially with the tweaks that they've made to the matchmaking. Too difficult.
He's summarized his question there. Why, as a diamond player, am I getting masters, but I'm never getting silver or plat opponents?
Okay.
Because you're winning as a diamond player.
Yeah. That's how that should work. With the new tweak now, if you're doing better and better, you're going to get matched up to people around the same rank as you or people higher than you, right? You won't necessarily get matched up against the lower level ranked players unless that situation occurs where you're waiting longer than 4 minutes, right, Veen? And then you're waiting up 6 minutes and then someone drops in.
However, if it looks like he's saying, no, I'm losing, if you're losing more than half of your matches and you still get paired up against people that are high, then it's possible that those people are also on a losing streak, or it's possible that, and then this is also kind of like, you'll understand that it's self-fulfilling. People who play more and are higher ranks play more, so there are more people queuing more times that are higher rank than lower rank. So as you get to a higher rank, it is more likely that you play higher ranked people because those people are hitting the play button more often.
Yeah.
I think it's also important to remember there's not really that many new people of lower ranks who are probably coming in that often, right? Like, again, that's we go back to this thing about the player growth being a huge factor here. Like, that's going to be it's going to be a big factor.
Yeah. I actually need to ask a question because this is something, that we saw quite regularly on day one in particular of a new season. Day one used to be kind of quite rife with tons of bots, right? So it was like a bot farming day. I haven't played enough so far, like in the new season with the changes you've made to the matchmaking, and I've just been too busy. I'd like to know whether people have been seeing a ton more bots or if they've been seeing less bots. And I'd also like to ask Veen, what's the kind of the progress on just tackling the bot problem in general in the game?
So I think that it is going quite well. Like, I think that we saw that there was bot activity and people matching it when there was broken matchmaking for the first 6 hours. But once we made the change, I feel like people should be seeing a significantly higher percentage of human matches.
Yeah. I mean, I want to see whether people are coming across that. The small amount of time that I've had playing this new season, I don't feel like I saw many bots at all. I think I only saw like one, which is for me a massive improvement because I remember day one where I'd be, say playing 10, 15 games and I could expect, a lot of those to be bots, right? The majority of them. So for me personally, I've seen less bots since these tweaks have come in. I'd love to hear what the chat thinks as well, and then we'll move it on to the next topics, which I don't actually. What's the next topic we're going to cover, guys? What do we want to? What direction do we want to move in?
I can talk about the upcoming content we've got for the TCG. We could answer. There were a bunch of non-MMR related questions in the chat. I saw one from Jeremy that I'll snipe real quick when he said, does Veen want to do a Design 101 stream? I would definitely do that. It's something where, like, game design education is actually a passion of mine. Before I got the job at Parallel, what I was considering doing was being full-time dad and having just a content creation channel called Game Dev Dad where I taught about game design. So I bought GameDevDad.com and changed my Discord name and all that.
Nice.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. I thought I was going to do this, and I'm actually starting next month in May. I'm actually teaching a course as an instructor for continuing education at the University of Washington in game design.
Oh,
So
nice.
like, if people are interested in like one of my passions is teaching game design. I teach a game like after this stream. What I've got is a meeting on the books today to teach people at Parallel early game design who want to switch from the department they're in into the design the design vertical. So it's
Wow.
something where if people are interested, I would love to organize something. So Jeremy, if you wanna pick up the banner and have you and say like we'll do a design 101 stream, I would love to talk about that with you.
Yeah, I mean, I can't almost imagine anybody not being interested in that. Like, to get the riches, to get the secrets from Veen live on a stream around game design, that'd just be amazing. So, yeah, Jeremy, great question there. Can you teach about how to be a dad? I tell you what,
Bro.
like, Freeze is in fire right now. He's on fire today in the chat.
I'm telling you, he's banned from the giveaway. He's cut off. He's foaming at the mouth over here.
I want to see. I saw something from BlizzCon saying that he played about 30 games, didn't really see any bots at all.
Love to hear it.
Yeah, like, I think there's something here. What's the range if you're winning? Is it +1, +2, or +3 ranks above current rank, for instance?
Oh, I don't know specifically. It's based on MMR cutoff, and I know that it expands so for the first 4 minutes, it's steadily increasing the gap, and then at 4 minutes, it significantly increases the gap, and then at 6 minutes, it just decides go play Parallel.
Okay, yeah. So I get it. Hopefully that answers, I think it was Slug's question. Hello also to Goldie. I did not see Goldie in here until just now. So hello, Goldie. One question that I had, which that you guys won't know because it was asked in an ambassador call, but I'm going to mention it now, is that I asked in the chat, in the call, are we going to see more lore relating to characters that are being released? Because the latest Battle Pass card just got some incredible lore attached to it. The writing's incredible, and I really enjoyed it. I know that for a fact that Goldie loved it. He was probably foaming at the mouth as he was reading it, as were the other lore goblins. And Veen, you confirmed that like there will be more lore that will be being released with these new cards, right? Yeah.
Yes, big time. Yeah, that's so one of the big advantages of working closer with GL on these things is I get to design way closer to his stories, and his stories get to match the cards pretty close.
Cool.
So it's been like we're both very, very excited about the Battle Pass going forward because they're no longer going to be absent lore. Like they will come with lore drops in the blog posts.
Yeah.
Dude,
Nice.
mission pull, that's absolutely nuts, bro. It's like the third time in a row that's happened. He's late because he doesn't know time zones. It's like, dude, you just pull up the website that has a little sliding bar on it. I don't know him either, but you can Google that, It's crazy.
Mission Paul, you're gonna have to try and get your head around time zones. But welcome in anyway, Mission Paul. Welcome in. All right, I think we've pretty much covered MMR. If there's any other questions that I spot, I might pull them out and just ask them. But let's move on. So thank you, Veen, for the MMR insight there. Let's go to the next area.
Sure. Looks like they're getting an ad, so before I drop anything completely new.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Yeah. So the ad's in progress. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah. One thing that I also wanted to ask is around like mobile. So maybe this is actually just a quick question for Fitch.
Sure.
Just to kind of bring Fitch in a little bit more. With mobile, the regional release of mobile anyway in the Philippines, it sounds like that has been well received. And I did ask you a question like last week or week before. It was too early, I get it. So far, based on the release, is everything still in schedule? So is everything still on the same time frame? There's not been any kind of delay, or has there been anything since you released in the Philippines that's made you think, oh, actually, maybe we need to push mobile back a little bit for the global?
No, I don't think that there's been any delay, but I don't know that I don't know that the feedback is like, wow, this is amazing, because I don't think it is amazing. So,
Okay.
yeah, I don't know how else to phrase that. Like
Yeah.
it's a, and Veen and I have spoken about this before. Like it's a version of the game that's kind of smushed into mobile form.
Yeah.
And yes, there's a lot to like about it. There's a lot to be excited about, to be able to see it in mobile and have it work well enough in that form. Um, but I don't think anybody's opening it up and is like singing its praises necessarily. I think
Right.
you guys know this. Like there was excitement to see it in mobile form,
Yeah.
but it's not like you open it up and you're like, wow, this is a really well polished version of a mobile product. Like that's not what it's meant to be. So, I think my response to that would be like, ask me again in a month, um, when we have 0.65 out, right? Like
Yeah.
0.65 will be the version to respond to and say, do you like it or not, right? Then you're going to have a lot more of a sense of what people's real reaction to mobile is, because that will be mobile, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
As to timelines, yeah, I think everything's consistent, with what we would expect. There's no sort of implied delay based on anything now. There was some type of question up here. Let me see. Why can't we see inventory and edit decks? Because that's not in there yet.
That's not in there yet. Yeah, that's coming.
It will be soon. But yeah, everything is kind of where I think we would roughly expect it to be right now.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
That's good to hear. Yeah, I mean, I was going to actually say that around the inventory, it's a sort of bit of feedback that I gave to Nicole, because one of the things that I love probably doing almost more than playing a game is actually just deck building. And so when you go into the mobile at the moment, you can deck build, but it takes you out of the client, it takes you to a browser, and it's not really ideal. And I kind of gave that feedback to Nicole, and I was like, look, like that doesn't keep me in the game because it's not fun. I don't like doing it like that. It feels awkward. But yes, it is coming, isn't it? You guys just got to figure out how you're doing it and push that into a later build, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It wasn't. Go ahead.
So, yeah, I was just gonna say, Veen, like Anthorage is saying, is there a fix coming for choosing purchased emotes in game? I'm gonna just remind people to submit bugs, like contact support. I mean, we don't work for support. It's just much quicker to actually get things resolved. I will certainly relay that, but like that's a great example of like spam support with this isn't working, and there's channels for getting that resolved.
Yeah. Zelly also says, I hear so much about 0.65, like I've never heard the number of a patch so much. Excited for it. Hello to Zelly as well, and I agree. Yeah.
I've learned my lesson, and now I've started to think about the patches in terms of what I want to name them instead of their names being their dot release. So there's 2 more patches I want to talk about coming. Well, 3 more patches I want to talk about coming forward, which is what we're calling the shotgun patch, alpha rework, and the go fast patch. So that once we or I could just talk about them right now if we think.
Yeah, go for it. Okay. Go for it. The floor is yours.
So, the shotgun patch, what we want to do is take a bunch of cards from Planetfall and Aftermath that have room to add power, cards that aren't meta, and give them new life. And the reason that we're doing this all in a shotgun patch is what we used to do is we would have balance patch changes where there'd be like 1 to 3 cards that were meta that we were changing, and then a smattering of cards like Augencore buffs or Cathari buffs or whatever, where it was like we're making a bunch of changes, and people would look at those and say like the balance team doesn't know what they're doing, they're just changing a bunch of cards that don't matter. And I think that what we could do that would be more fun is like, since Deception is now going to be probably in the August time frame, we want to have content between now and then, so we think that issuing a patch where a bunch of cards get changed and have more power and have the ability to play and be played in more decks, that would create like this little burst of fun between now and Deception. The next patch that we're talking about is the alpha rework. And the alpha rework is effectively going to be the shotgun patch, but for alpha. But we want to do that after Deception, once we see what the changes from the shotgun patch and the Deception drop have done. And then the third patch is after .66. We want to take some time and spend some real quality time with the server and the core code of the game. We've improved the client a lot, but that's not actually the core gameplay code like the engine. And we want to make the engine better the same way that we made the client better. And on top of that, when we get animations going faster and the server going faster and the client continues to be bug free, that's when I think we're going to call whatever patch has those changes in them, which I think will come around the .68, .69 time. We're going to call that the Go Fast patch.
Okay, yeah, nice. I'm really excited for you said shotgun? Just so
yes.
I'm right? Shotgun patch.
Like a big shotgun worth of changes. Instead of like scalpel changes or pistol changes where we're making very targeted, I want to nerf this card and change this just a little bit. It's just take a huge shot and see what happens.
And just blast in a wide area, right? Yeah, I get it. I'm hoping that one of those cards that you look at, maybe I can ask you now actually, just very cheekily, is one of those cards from the shotgun patch going to be called the Corrupted? Is that going to be a card that kind of gets a bit more power added to it, Veen?
I believe that we already have a change in mind for Call of the Corrupted. Just a second here.
Okay, yeah. Because I remember...
yes, 100%.
Yeah?
Yes, we are changing
Nice.
That. I know the two changes we're making to it.
Okay, great. I'm really excited to hear that because, I remember when that was released from Planetfall, everybody was so excited about it. It was getting played a lot in tons of Shroud decks. And then, of course, it got nerfed. And then it just kind of just disappeared into the void. You know, nobody was playing it anymore. But everyone was like, oh, I really want to play Call the Corrupted still, but it's just not good enough. So nice to hear that that's gonna get a bit of attention. Legit Bad Guy says, when Deception? I think you might have just missed it. Veen mentioned around August, was it? Veen, you're looking at?
So we thought it was going to be in the late June, early July timeframe, but it looks like it's going to be around August. And the reason we want to do this is we want to launch the new expansion with the main thrust of mobile acceptance and release. Like we want there to be, we don't want the set to be like 2-3 months old when mobile starts getting big. We want it to be, you started playing, here's the new set, go crazy. And that will have the highest velocity of cards for us. So it does mean we have to wait a little bit longer, which is sad. But I do have fantastic news, which is that we are getting a public test realm pretty soon. I don't know exactly when, but that will happen. And once that happens, we should have the ability for people to play with the cards before they're released and comment on the balance, things like that. So
that is juicy. Yeah,
this is something that I can't guarantee, but the writing looks like we're going to have it, and I feel comfortable saying that it'll be more of an if than a when, or more of a when than an if.
And how long are you expecting that sort of test period, the initial test period to last?
Once the PTR is up, I don't want it to ever shut down. I always want it to be so like I believe that once we have a public test realm and we have new cards on there, once we have like I'll put alpha rebalance if the PTR is working, I'll put alpha rebalance on there and let people have access to it first. I'll put stuff from the next set on there. Like what I want is for this to be the place that we test and we find bugs and we find invalid cards. Like it's not going to be a perfect experience. It's going to be a test realm. But this is where if people really want to dig their teeth in and help us make the game, this is where they can do it.
We just have to. That's amazing, by the way. We do also have to say hello to Fitch's dog.
Fitch's dog.
Fitch's dog is absolutely awesome. Fitch, what's your dog's name?
Tobias. He's a niche internet micro celebrity. So
yeah, he loves.
Can we just have Tobias on the stream, please, and you can go and do something else because like
I'm all for that.
Yeah, your dog is super cute. I mean, you could almost just stream with that dog, and your viewership would probably be way more than me. I mean, that dog is a superstar.
I think so. I've been encouraged to like make him an Instagram account, but I'm not quite that vain. So, no, he's a good dude. Yeah, I mean, I think to Veen's point, we would like to line up Deception with some other marketing efforts that go alongside that whole mobile rollout. So, I know that Jeremy was fishing for some reveals there. I don't know that we can do any more revealing, but I'll just make that general statement that there's some things that we would like to be sort of crescendoing up to that time.
I love the effort from Jeremy. Not even one? Can we squeeze maybe even just one in today? A small, tiny little glimmer of a leak on Deception? Because I'm so excited for Deception. And I almost just like, I want more information on Deception. I know that I'm not the only one, and I know you guys can't, you've got to be careful what you push out. Can we get something maybe a little bit on Deception? I'm fishing. I'm fishing.
I'll find something. I'll take a look at Deception.
Yeah, I don't
Nice.
have any reveals on Deception itself. If it's who we're working with,
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna do anything with like an Alonzo type of figure. They would all just be gaming related personalities, or just sort of social media in general. I can't say any names though. Sorry.
Okay. Cool.
All right. I think actually when it comes to reveals, I think BVED is the king of the alpha leaks. And
Okay.
so what I'll do is I'll tell BVED that halfway through the stream or when we get close to the end, we will leak Tanakh.
Okay. Leak to knock.
Tanakh is a character that you know from the comics. That is a Battle Pass card that is coming out in the Deception. So Raven is part of the Deception Battle Pass. This is how she was originally concepted. And so continuing the Battle Pass, we'll show you some more about who else is in that Battle Pass, and Tanakh is one of them.
Oh, nice. Okay. Very nice.
Cool,
that'd be great.
Yeah, cool character.
Yeah, very cool. I just want to go back quickly, Veen, because there's a question that I had around the testing. How have you guys been like testing previously? Like, as in, like, what sort of like duration have you been testing, and how public have you been making the testing? Is
not public at all, and less than we should. Like it's been so the way that the schedule's aligned on the previous sets, we had less time to test than ideal. But as each set has rolled out, like Planetfall had less time than Aftermath, had less time than Deception, which will have less time than the next set. And so like we just keep growing in the right direction, and we keep getting ahead of stuff. We have more time for art, we have more time for narrative, we have more time for testing, we have more resources for testing. So you're gonna see a lot more public-facing testing and public-facing balance stuff as time goes forward. I feel like that's been one of our strengths, is like once we like, I like transparency, and I like these chats that we have with the public, and I like interacting with the player base and getting their feedback on issues related to the game. So what I want to do is make this more of a public thing and make it so we have more testing. But yeah, like the previous testing, it worked, it was functional, but it's not as much as we want. And in fairness, like the amount of testing I want is unlimited. I want to make sure that we play like everything is fully tested. We know that's maximally fun and minimally bugged, right? But you can never have that. You can just have what's available to you.
Yeah, I'm really excited to hear that, because I think if we can make like the testing have a longer duration and maybe get more people involved in the testing, then it's just going to mean that when you finally do release the actual sets and the cards, there's going to be on your side hopefully less nerfing that you have to do, because it's almost just got right from the start.
Exactly,
from the testing.
right.
Yeah, and I think with Planetfall, was it Planetfall? I think it might have been with Planetfall. I can't actually remember, but I remember there was an expansion that was released, and then a lot of cards were really, really good, and then there was a lot of cards that then got changed very quickly. Actually, the same happened a little bit with Aftermath, right? Where some cards, like for example, Embedded Agent, that was released, and then a couple of weeks later it got nerfed. But I almost kind of felt like maybe if there was just more testing done and more feedback, then that wouldn't have had shielded from the get-go, right?
Yeah,
things
of course.
like that. Yeah. Nice.
Cool. And like there are things where it is a truism of design, and this is spoiling some of the design 101 stuff, I guess, but it's a truism of design that like if you release a set and you're not a little bit scared, you've done something wrong. Like you have to be a little bit scared of some card. There has to be a card where you're like, that card's too strong. And luckily in a digital world, you don't have to let that card be too strong for too long. You can actually say like, let's take it down. But if you release a set where nothing scares you even a little bit, the players aren't going to think, oh my God, I can find something. And part of the reason that being a player is so exciting and finding a card that's broken is finding a mistake that design made. Right? Like I'm not perfect. I make mistakes all the time, right? And if people can find those mistakes and play with them, like that's what they're looking for before those balance patches hit. And I think that if we had a little bit more testing, we'd have stuff that was less egregious than that, but I think we'd still have enough rough edges for people to have fun.
Yeah, cool. I also want to just pick up on something. I've seen something in the chat. I do want to ask it. The Terramech is a monster, and there's not really another card like the Terramech. It's kind of cool, actually, that the Terramech is such a monster, because it's one of those cards that you just basically described, where it strikes fear into you, and you're like, oh man, like that's actually, how do I deal with that? Someone mentioned in the chat, I think it was Blue Core. I think Blue Core said earlier in the chat, he's heard rumors that there's going to be some changes made to Terramech. Is that true?
Those rumors are true. Yes.
They're true. Really?
So along with the Poisoner change, Terramech had some jobs, right? And this is all going to be covered in the blog as well. But when Terramech was designed, Terramech had a very big job, which was Earthen is bad. How do we make Earthen good? And the answer was there has to be a card that costs more than one card to solve. Like this card must cost more than one card and be strong. And if you don't answer it, it needs to be a big threat that can actually either run away with the board or run away with the game. But it can't just be some big defender that has no agency and ends the game by itself, right? But Terramech, in a world where Poisoner is coming down and no snitching is coming down, can't have the same strength it has now because there's just not enough counterplay to it. So we're going to make some changes to add counterplay, but still have it be the biggest, baddest, scariest unit in the game.
Cool. So there you go, guys. You heard it here first. There is still going to be ways to deal with the Terramech. Terramech is going to be changed. So its power is going to be brought down a little bit, but it's still going to be a force to be reckoned with. I'm really happy to hear that because I don't want Earthen to lose that kind of fear factor, right? Because for so long, like they, as you say, they were bad, you know, and so many people used to say to me when I used to go up against my Shroud, they're like, this is a free win. I was like, well, you know, maybe not. Now, when you go up against Earthen, it's really, really difficult. Like, for me personally, I feel like Earthen is the most difficult matchup I play. They get so much value out of so many cards, and they have such board presence that it's so difficult to get through them, and the Terramech is definitely one of those cards. So I love that it's still going to maintain that kind of fear, but I also think it's good to hear that because no snitching is now less effective, or not less effective, but like it's
can't target
reduced.
It anymore.
Exactly, yeah, you can't target it. You can't target things over 4, and then with the Master Poisoner getting nerfed, it's like, well, I was thinking to myself personally, I was like, well, if those things are getting changed, then Terramech is going to be a nightmare to deal with in some decks, right? Especially if you're not playing Shroud, because Shroud can always banish it, right? But if you're not playing Shroud, like there's very few, your options are getting limited and smaller to deal with something like a Terramech. Yeah.
Right.
Are we going to see, sorry, no, after you, Veen.
So basically, like the goal with the Terramech changes is we want to make it so it still costs multiple cards to solve, but now when you bring a card to solve the problem, like if you bring Solitary Confinement or if you bring like the Cathari Bounce or you bring anything like that, like we want that to be something that you can do. So there's going to be counterplay to the shielded.
Nice. Are we going to see other kind of big bad monsters like the Terramech that just completely stand out from the rest of the crowd? Is that something we're going to be seeing a lot more, say in Deception, perhaps?
So I will say that specifically, so it had to be an Earthen Legendary, and it's the biggest, baddest Earthen Legendary unit. And Earthen is known for having the biggest, baddest units. So, like, is there going to be something that looks scarier than the Terramech Shield Titan? Like, not at that energy level. It has to cost more for it to be scarier than Terramech on that level. But do I think that, so I don't think that until Aftermath is on its way out that we'll see something comparable in power at that level, at that energy cost for the Earthen deck.
Yeah, nice. Okay. Something I also want to ask, I think someone's asked it earlier on. Again, apologies, I can't remember who, but it's also something that has been coming up quite regularly on my streams, is around like the Bloodhound. So the Bloodhound was like a really interesting battle pass card, because I remember when it was first released, we actually talked about it on the stream, and there were so many people on the stream that like, it's probably not going to be that good. It's, it's a 0-1. They were kind of like writing it off, and I was kind of saying, well, actually, it's got Battle Ready, and for me, Battle Ready is one of the sort of almost the scariest, the most powerful keywords, and we're now seeing that the Bloodhound actually is causing a bit of chaos. Are there any plans to maybe change the Bloodhound or change the way that the Bloodhound works in a Cathy Marco deck?
So I'm going to answer you with a vague, unhelpful answer, but hopefully it gives you
nice.
Hopefully it gives you some direction as to what I'm talking about. Okay. I'm not going to touch Bloodhound proper, but I do believe that the decks that play Bloodhound the way that it gets played now just get worse after Deception. Like, I think that like the very tempo heavy aggro meta that we've been in for basically Parallels history, I think is going to get shaken up after Deception. So I want to make sure that we leave these explosive tools on the table to be able to take games away from decks that have more control cards.
Yeah.
Does that mean that I have to do something like maybe take some strength away from other cards before Deception? Maybe. Definitely on the list. Like, again, you saw the VRAV change, and we know we're making more Marco changes. As a matter of fact, I'll just say we're going to change Triumph of Mars.
Yes,
and
thank you,
Triumph of Mars is
Thank
going to
you.
just reduce 2 instead of reducing 3. It's not a big hit. You're still going to play the card. But, like, what we're trying to do is find ways to get rid of Marco's reach, because Marco's explosive start is good. We want that to be the case. Like, this is something that you're playing the deck for, and taking that away takes away from the identity of Marco. But, like, all of these reloads, like, we want people to be able to reload with Triumph of Mars, but to be able to reload and shoot in the same turn was pretty strong. And so just taking a little bit of strength away from that should either make them commit way harder to 2 or less cards, or take more than 1 turn to recover when they're out of gas.
Okay, I'm with you. So, Holdenson, just for clarity, is it still draw 3 and reduce by 2? Or
It'll draw 3, reduce by 2, instead of 3.
Nice. Yeah, nice. I think that's good. Are there any plans? This is okay. Interesting. Are there any plans to maybe look at things where if you play a Triumph of Mars and the Triumph of Mars then goes into another Triumph of Mars, are there any plans to look at that? Because that can kind of that's horrible.
It's the words that you would have to write to make that not a thing are pretty ugly. But the idea of playing a Triumph for 5 and then playing the new Triumph for 3, like, there's not much you can do after that.
Yeah. Okay. So there's no plans to look at that. That's just the way it is, right?
It's just the way it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Nice. There's so much going on in the chat. Fitch, you're probably more in the know on the chat than I am. Have you seen anything that we need to discuss from the chat that I've maybe missed?
No, it's just funny to see Blue Core spamming over and over again about ODS. Literally just did it again. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's
Look at Otis
hilarious.
who keeps spawning 2/6/6s. Yes, Colony. That's an interesting one. We were planning on talking about Colony. Shall we move it on to Colony a little bit, guys? Because Skeeter says, any Colony updates? I would also love to know a little bit about Colony. I don't have access, so Fitch, if I need to give you like a little backhander to give me access, then please let me know. And same for Wayfinder as well. But yeah, Colony. Where's that at? What's going on with Colony? Is there anything new or interesting you can share with us today about Colony?
What I'm hearing from the team is that there's like going to be another round of access in May at some time. I have had a lot of messages about it. It's like people borderline angry. Not borderline, they're definitely angry. Borderline very angry.
They a little mad, yeah.
That they don't have access.
Yeah.
And everybody sort of like believes as though they should have access, and you know, it's not like me or Veen's choice. At the end of the day, people are kind of just being put in rounds in this sort of like let's move fast method that Parallel's always doing for this and Wayfinder. Goldie's rubbing it in chat. That's really
I know.
gracious of him
He's just,
to do.
nice. Thank you for that, Goldie. Yeah, thank you.
Colony
Appreciate
was
that.
so fun. He had to add the extra O's in there to make sure that everybody knew that. But yeah, I mean, it's been going well. I like to say that the feedback was great is an understatement, and that's a very early version of what Colony is going to be in the future.
Yeah.
You know, I personally am very excited for Colony because it's a game that I think has far more marketability than even the TCG, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree.
People who like TCGs really like TCGs. And the interesting thing is we haven't even really gotten serious with like all of the outbound marketing for the TCG yet, and we will. There's a lot of pieces that we're setting up there, but you look at something like Colony, and you know, I always think about it, or I give the example of variety streamers, right? Like they're really big variety streamers. I'm not going to name names, so we've talked to their teams, and it's like, I mean, would these people play the TCG and care about it? Like I have no idea, but they would almost certainly play Colony, and I could see their audiences being very interested in it. So it kind of opens up a different type of audience for Parallel in general, like Parallel Studios.
Yeah.
And so that I think is really interesting. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, it's going to be a crazy, you know, next 6 months to a year to 2 years for parallel. Just so many different things happening, right? You've got like the real full marketing rollout with mobile for the TCG. You've got early access for Colony. You got Wayfinder, which has had like insane amount of momentum, and then I think sometime around the end of the year you'll have Sanctuary. Remains to be seen how aggressive of a timeline that is or isn't, but yeah, it's there's a lot going on, and I'm very excited for all of it.
Yeah, one thing I want to ask you, Fitch, because you mentioned earlier around like almost trying to sync the release of, say, like Deception with mobile, so you can kind of like hit those two together and really maximize the impact. Does Colony come into that, or would you be thinking maybe that's cannibalizing a little bit too much, or like is Colony going to be part of that?
Yeah, I mean it is, right? I like there is a synergy between things that's becoming more apparent. Both in terms of some of the stuff that Veen and his team are doing with lore and how like lore can go between the different games and aspects of the universe. I see Panda Apple talking about Dwarf Fortress. Kind of. Dwarf Fortress is a cool game. My brother's a big fan of it. I would say that there's some similarities for sure with Dwarf Fortress, or maybe even like RuneScape. I think that there's a huge amount of similarity with RuneScape, which I was a really big fan of RuneScape growing up. I still watch RuneScape content, which is funny. I don't even play it, but I think it's one of those games that's going to have a lot of that like watchability, even if you're not playing it. It'll be a fun game to watch. But yeah, I think timing wise, you can do certain things that are going to, capture value, and that's stacking up more to happen at a certain time. So if we have mobile rollout happening around the same time, or sort of crescendoing around the same time as Deception, and then we also have, let's say hypothetically, Colony entering beta around that time, and let's say hypothetically some new upgrade of Wayfinder, like all those things happening in a tight space of time can provide advantages. I'm not saying that we're always trying to do things that way, but there is sometimes an intention to do things that way.
Yeah, I completely agree with you around how like the marketability, the attractiveness of, say, Colony is compared to, say, like the TCG, because Parallel, I love Parallel, right? The TCG, and the TCG has like a real hardcore audience that love it. They love card games, and they're like they want as much as they can of it. With Colony, I feel like I could introduce, say, the TCG to, say, like my sister, and she probably wouldn't take it. But with Colony, she'd be like, oh, this is interesting. I get to almost kind of like control these little people and like build a little base and stuff, like, and interact with them. I just feel like there's a big diverse opportunity there, and it's really exciting. And I had an opportunity when I was in Vegas to play a little bit of it and see it. And I have to say, it exceeded my expectations because I think that it looks great. It's so mobile focused, and it is only going to be a mobile game, right? This isn't a game that's going to be releasing to PC, is it, as well? Right, Colony. It's just mobile.
It would theoretically release to PC at some point.
Right. Okay.
It's mobile first, but it's going to be ported.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I didn't know that. That's really cool. Okay.
Oh nice. Yeah, we've got an ad, but I'll just yap through it, I guess. Are they gonna miss this part audio wise, or are they?
Well, it'll be recorded anyway, so they'll miss it, say, live, but they can catch up on the VOD.
This is why you guys should sub.
Sub. Exactly. There you go.
I guess they're not hearing that. The audience that should hear that message is not.
Everyone that's subbed already knows.
All right, we need to put that in the chat, Bean. Can you put that in the chat? Sub to tip to avoid this problem happening.
Yeah. If you hate ads, then sub.
Yeah, if you don't like ads and you like alpha, then you need to. You need to sub.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll wait for the time being.
Yeah, that's a free tip. It is indeed.
That's a free tip.
Free tip to sub to free tip. Appreciate it.
Yeah. I mean, we'll pick back up after the ads with that topic of the appeal, the mass appeal of the different titles. I have a lot of strong opinions on this, so I'm happy to give them.
Yeah, I mean, I think the ad's about to finish, so we've got about a couple of seconds. Let's just Gavin, is it possible in the future? Yes, me and Veen talked about this on the stream, but I think it's useful for more people to know about this. Gavin asked a really good question. Is it possible in the future to exceed the 40 limit in a deck, especially for Algan, since balancing upgrades always feels like a chore? And me and you talked about this, didn't we, Veen, recently on the stream? How it was like you were saying you almost just don't want there to be a limit because it should then just be on the player to design and build a deck for as low or as high as they can to optimize it. What's your view on this?
I believe that we're not going to change the deck minimum, but like changing deck maximum, it's not on the list of stuff to do, and I don't know, like, I think that it's unfortunately harder to do than some other things because it might be, like, hard-coded into the client in some ways. Okay. But it is something where I have no problem with people playing an unlimited number of cards. Like, it just helps them. It takes away from the efficiency, right? However, I'm not going to create a new game mode, and I'm not going to change the new deck minimum to be, like, 50 or something like that. But I will say that if it's easy to do and say you can play as many cards as you want, then I would love for that to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say it's really, really, really difficult with all the buffs that you guys have been making to the changes and the card changes, etc. Especially for Algan Core, as was just pointed out. I have to say, I'm looking forward to Deception, but I'm almost like, how the hell am I going to be able to build decks when Deception comes out, because it's already so difficult to build a deck with like just the cards that we have in the game. So it's gonna be tough. Yeah,
that's the hard part of card games is you want to use all your stuff, but you can't use them.
Exactly, yeah, absolutely. Okay, also need to say a big thank you to Metal Slug for gifting out 5 subs, also to Blue Core for the sub, Davis too, and Captain Cathari and Anthraj. Thank you so much, guys, for the subs. They are not suffering with ads anymore because they've subbed, so feel free to. If you use Amazon Prime, you can sub to the channel for free as well. Fitch, do you want to pick it up now that we've had the ads gone again? You wanted to talk about a little bit more about Colony and the mass appeal and all that sort of stuff, right? So you can...
Yeah, I mean, I tweeted this at one point, but the difference between like the different things that are going on in the Parallel Studios umbrella, like the TCG has always been the slowest cook, right? Like it takes a while to, polish up and sort of build out, and it's the first product and you're building the universe at the same time. And Kalos has talked about this where it's like, the first sort of and most central aspect of the Parallel Studios ecosystem is the TCG, because every time you're building out a card, you're building out sort of a representation of something within the universe, and that thing can then go between the other games or things that you build in the universe, and become with this Web3 tech like potentially an object that can actually literally go between those different universes in some type of way. Like that interoperability thesis is like a much longer tail thing to arrive at, as we've addressed before, but it's starting to be a lot more of a real thing. Anyway, point being, like the TCG is going to have its appeal to certain audiences. It has, TCGs globally have a really large and sort of consistent player base. If you like TCGs, you really like TCGs. There are people who like strategy games who kind of dabble in TCGs. But then there are people who, are going to play like the flavor of the day type of game, or play something that's like got more mass appeal. And I think that's where Colony is really interesting. It's fundamentally new type of game. It's a type of game that variety streamers are going to engage with a lot more. And then the idea being that, if we get Colony out there to those types of audiences, then maybe that pulls people into the TCG and creates people who are net new fans of the universe of Parallel. And then like everybody sort of wins there. So it's really interesting, and that excites me. It excites me to be nearing the point where the TCG is kind of ready for mass market, and it also excites me that we have a game that has like really, really breakout potential in Colony and can be marketed in a bit more flexible of ways. Because I think, I'm not going to say too much more on it. We have a lot of big things that we can do for the TCG marketing and that are kind of teed up already. But I think there's a lot of other types of playbooks that can be ran for Colony as well that are exciting to me.
I agree. I think also with Colony, correct me if I'm wrong, please. With Colony, do you feel like there's going to be quite a big interest as well, maybe from like casual gamers? who can just kind of like drop in, play for a little bit, and they're like, oh, he's going to do his own thing. Okay, I'll come and check back then in like 20 minutes or something, or a couple of hours. I think that's quite a big 100%. Market to tap into, right? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, like a lot of people that you talk to don't have time to play a seriously invested type of game. I would say that the TCG is a seriously invested type of game. Like there is no casual playing of the TCG really, at least for now. And I think Veen would attest to that too. It's like, in the future we can be at that point where it's a casual game with maybe some more beginner type of game modes and just again making that user experience a lot more friendly for an early player. That a lot of that work's happening now. A lot more will come in the future, and then you can imagine that if you have maybe some Slay the Spire type of progressions, like some other game modes that are a lot more, I don't know what I'm doing in a TCG, but I'd like to just mess around, then the TCG could be considered that type of game, but it's very much not now and not for the immediate future. And Colony will be a lot more of that, like I'm just clicking around and occasionally checking in and having a great time. So it does appeal to a different type of audience. And so putting examples in the chat, like TFT, I mean, certainly, TFT is a game that we're looking at engaging some TFT creators. There's a lot of adjacent types of games, but for now, Parallel remains I'm super invested in this, and this is a high skill ceiling, a lot of thought goes into it type of game. Colony is like, I'm messing around and I'm joking around and I'm having fun and I'm telling my agent to do something silly, and then I leave for 2 hours and I come back, and that's a totally different type of thing, and it opens up new audiences.
Yeah, exactly. If you sit down to go and play Parallel, that you're sitting down there and potentially committing the rest of your night playing Parallel to get the 5 wins or to kind of grind the ladder, right? Potentially 5-6 hours, you're going to have to be locked in there. It's not the sort of thing you can just sit down and say, I'm going to squeeze in like a 5-minute game. No, it doesn't work like that, right? At all. Whereas with Colony, of course, you could do that. It sounds like that. You could just be like, oh, I've got a couple of minutes. Oh, what's happening with my agent? You speak to him for like a couple of minutes. Then, maybe you sort of put your phone down, you go into a meeting or something. So I love the appeal of Colony for that, because I think that, as you say, it's just going to have a bit more of a mass market appeal in itself and bring more people into your ecosystem, which only helps the other games and the other products that you're developing, including Wayfinder, which you've not talked about yet. Yeah.
But yeah, just to hop on that, like knowing that you can't sit down for a 10-minute game, that's a goal I want to fix. Like I want one game of Parallel to be something that you can sit down. Like we'll never be Marvel Snap, but I want us to be closer to like Magic Arena, right? Okay. Where like you can sit down and you can get a game in 10-15 minutes. It'll be a good game. But like right now we've got load times, queue times, and client responsiveness issues that make the game take longer. So like again, the game is too long in minutes and maybe too short in turns. So I want more turns and fewer minutes.
I know how we can solve that immediately, Veen. We just remove allocated provisions and we ban Eartham from being able to do anything.
The April Fool's joke is real.
Yeah, yeah. I've had some pretty long matches with Earthen, largely because of allocated provisions, which I know actually, to be fair, has got better, right? I mean, the change that you've made, have you found that has improved the speed of games? Because some people actually have said, no, they're not seeing a difference there. Others have said, well, it's a little bit better, but I'd like to know your opinion on it.
So as a matter of fact, I'm late. I'm currently late for my noon meeting. This is totally fine. Okay. But the meeting that I'm skipping right now is test animations going faster with everybody. So right now they are testing animations speeding up at this very moment for later patches. So.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, again, like the state of the game in 6 months is going to be so different, right? And I to Veen's point, we want to get to that place where the TCG is a lot more like friendly for a casual experience. But it's interesting that Colony is going to come out of the box and be friendly for a casual experience, right? Like that's kind of how it's designed. So you have different things that appeal to different people, and then you look at Sanctuary as well, appeals to a completely different type of player. People who are sweaty. FPS players can get down with that. So the idea is to have something that appeals to everybody. I actually do have a question for chat. We're talking to some potential partners to activate with, and I'm curious, is there a most requested cosplay that we haven't. I mean, not necessarily that we haven't
Cosplay.
seen, or just something that we would like to see maybe done in a different way, or
Ooh,
yeah. So
interesting
just
question.
who do we want to? It's a woman, by the way. So
Okay.
I think it's best if she doesn't do a male
Yeah. Don't
character. I should
don't
have
want to dip into
specified that.
that grey
Bearded
area.
bearded John. No, it's not Melissa. It is someone that we've worked with before. If you've been around for a while, you would know who this person is.
I'm surprised that Shoshana's not being mentioned here in the chat. But Magna's a good shout. Yeah, Magna's a great
Actually, so
shout.
one of the people that we're working with is doing Shoshana.
Okay.
So I should also mention that Shoshana is covered.
Okay. What's this for specifically, like Fitch? Is this just kind of just extra marketing, or is this like for just why are we looking at the cosplayers here specifically?
They're large influencers in the Philippines, and
Okay.
I wanted them to play on stream in cosplay.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, that the one choice of Shoshana's kind of already been made, and then heavy weapons team.
To-
That's an incredible answer. Heavy weapons team. Oh my God. Muriel was one of the suggestions that she liked, and then I actually suggested Convergent Domina, which
oh,
would
yeah, that's a
be
great one. That's a great shout.
absolutely insane.
Yeah. You could do so much with that, with the makeup as well, like with the blood that she's got dripping down her face. That would
Yeah,
really
yeah,
cool.
yeah. So this person
That'd be really
actually
cool.
already did a Saleya cosplay. If anybody remembers this, then you would know who the answer is of who this is.
Okay. I don't, so I'd be keen to see who
You're
comes
a
up with
noob,
that.
Tip. You're a
Yeah,
noob.
I know. I'm sort of playing catch up, aren't I? Really, for sure. Yeah, I mean, a year of playing catch up. It appears anyway.
Dude, the shield pod and heavy weapon suggestions are incredible. That's amazing.
Absolutely funny. Also, just a quick one in the shield pod. This is super random. The shield pod, Veen. There's a person in the shield pod. Who is that? Is that Neve? Because I thought it looked like Neve.
That's a great question. I don't know.
Oh no. Okay, it's a Greg question.
Yeah, it's a he's the head of narrative. So if anyone has an idea of the lore behind the card, it would be Greg.
Okay, so I need to get Greg on here then and probe him for all the information around that. I'm a bit conscious because Veen's a bit late for his next meeting, so like
I said that just to prove that we're working on it. But every time we do one
Yeah,
of these
he's
streams, I miss my nude. Don't worry about it.
yeah, I'm
just
feeling guilty,
just
but
flexing a
also
little bit.
yeah, I want to keep you here as long as possible if we can. Do we need to talk a little bit about Wayfinder, because Wayfinder at the moment has just been, not making all the headlines, but like you go on a timeline, you see Wayfinder this, Wayfinder that. Wayfinder's been building up a lot of traction. I don't have access, so hint hint. Fitch, hint hint. I don't have access, so it's been really difficult for me to kind of see and experience the product. But I know from seeing what people have been writing, they've been really enjoying it. They see a lot of potential in it. Anything that we can talk about with Wayfinder, the yapping, anything to kind of give us some insight around, the token launch and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, didn't we have Andy in there giving people access in the Ambassador Discord? I thought we did. If we don't, I will ask him to do that. I'm pretty sure we did though, have him in there, giving people access. Anyway, yeah, hit me up. We'll get you some. We'll get you some Wayfinder access. It is the hot topic right now.
Yep.
The way that, and this is, I think, a thing that people are sleeping on. Like they look at Wayfinder and how hot it is right now, and it's like Colony is the qualitative version of that, right? Like you just haven't seen it fully yet. Some
Yep.
people have. Goldie will remind you that he has in the chat,
Of course you
and
will.
how great
Yeah.
it was, But yeah, if Wayfinder has that product market fit, I think that's based on how bad the UX in crypto is. Like it's
Yeah.
so bad. And
Yeah.
so, you come out with a product like Wayfinder that's like, oh, I just tell this app what I want it to do and it does it for me. And this would otherwise have taken me 10 minutes and I would have to be waiting on a bridge and I don't know if it's going to be bridged and I don't know what the fees are. And
Yeah.
it just is terrible. I mean, it's the well-known worst part about the
Yeah.
crypto aspect.
Big time.
It's just, the UX is so bad.
Yeah.
And so Wayfinder has that excitement around it for that reason and all of its capabilities. But then you think about like AI can tell you stories. AI can create emergent gameplay narratives. AI can build characters that feel more real than scripted characters, right?
Yeah.
And you think about that as Colony, and it's like that to me is actually probably more exciting. And that's my bias because I like narratives and I like that type of stuff. But it's really really interesting to me, and that is something I think people are sleeping on, is that Wayfinder came out of Colony.
Yeah.
Right?
Not the other way
Like
around.
that's
Yeah.
not the other way around. Like Colony is the original idea. Colony is going to be so interesting, and so I don't want people to miss the forest for the trees, so to speak. Like it's going to be really really game changing, and there's a lot that we'd like to do with it in terms of promoting it, but the game itself is just going to be pretty earth shattering. On the Wayfinder side, the metrics are obviously incredible to see. Like it's absolutely shattering a lot of our expectations, even in this down market. Like it's mind blowing some of the things that we've seen in terms of adoption metrics for a product that is like most people who have signed up don't even have access to. It's absolutely wild, and I think that's just going to continue. I mean, the advice that I gave you guys on the ambassador call and that I've sort of tweeted about a couple times is like, the best thing you can do right now if you're interested in promoting Wayfinder is anytime a new chain is integrated, find the favorite NFTs and the favorite coins on that chain and pull those people in with that. Show them examples of what they care about being easier with Wayfinder, right? Like that's the way that we're going to get upside. The way you can think about it is like every chain ecosystem out there, if we get 1% of those users to use Wayfinder, we're going to be laughing. It's going to be hilarious, right? So that's the idea. And then obviously like Wayfinder's success feeds back into the whole beast. So
yeah, I'm really excited for Wayfinder because I will never ever forget the first time that I had to do a bridge in crypto. Right, I never forget it because like I was trying to figure it out. I didn't have a clue what was going on. There's all this terminology that you're like,
dude, it's so bad.
It's horrible, absolutely horrible. And I remember like having to Google it to think, okay, how do I do it? And then that's the worst thing you can do in a way, because you Google something to say, how can I bridge? And then you've got about 20,000 different ways to bridge or different opinions how to bridge, and it's so confusing. And I think the thing as well with crypto is that because that it's so fragile that if you get something wrong, your kind of money, whatever, just goes off into the void. You don't want to make those mistakes. And so what I love about Wayfinder is that it's just fixing that huge headache for people that are even slightly crypto savvy. The people that aren't just will never want to engage in that kind of bridging and this. Just don't care. Whereas Wayfinder just says, okay, you know what? Don't worry about all that. I'll do it for you, right? It's just like, you just tell me, I'll do it for you. And I just love that. We need it. Yeah. We need that. I was saying for a long time that I wish that somebody would almost just kind of like PayPal crypto, like what happened with PayPal, where PayPal just kind of revolutionized the way that online payments happened. And before that, it was just very technical and it just wasn't easy to do. And I was like, I wish someone would just PayPal crypto, and you guys are doing it. So I'm super excited that we're here. We're getting there.
It's anyway. It's ironic that like one of the value propositions of crypto is sort of like borderless international transmission of money, and yet we absolutely fuck it up with the UX. It's like yes, you can do it, right? And it is free, and it is very cheap compared to international wires. I don't know if you've never had to send an international wire. It's a horrendous experience. Really, really bad. But how do we get to that point where the UX is as easy as PayPal? And that's what we need to do, right? And when we do that, then I think we'll be at a really good place and actually be offering something substantial to people in the world who want to move money around or own assets, right? So that's where we need to get to. And I think Wayfinder basically skips that step of like the underlying infrastructure getting us there, because you don't need to interface with that underlying infrastructure. You just
can use the bad infrastructure.
It can use the bad infrastructure and layer over a nice pretty thing on top of it. That's what you click and what you interface with,
Yeah. Fantastic. Is there anything that you like the community to be doing? Because there's this yapping that has really taken off with, and I'm not very familiar with it. I've only just got familiar with it because I've seen lots of Wayfinder yapping going on. Is there anything that the community could and should be doing maybe around the yapping, just to kind of bolster Wayfinder's like appeal and its blueprint, its footprint, should I say?
Yeah, well, Speed Demon says I don't understand the yaps. To be honest, I didn't really understand the yaps too well until recently myself. But the idea is there's a platform called Kaido, and Parallel has committed via Kaido, or I should say Wayfinder has committed via Kaido to reward you for the amount that you speak about it effectively.
Okay.
That's the way that platform works. So if you feel so inclined, you can do that, and you basically just connect your social account, your Twitter account to Kaido, and then say things about Wayfinder, and you will then qualify for these yaps, which then sort of will convert into prompt
Nice.
at some point. So that's the TLDR. The thing that I advised you guys on the ambassador call as well, which I'll say here for everybody's edification, I guess, is like use the app, right? If you want to be involved in the ecosystem, the best thing that you can do is get in there and become a super user and understand how to use it. Because then you'll be able to tell other people how to use it, and you will contribute to the underlying metrics which are most valuable, which are usage metrics. At the end of the day, impressions, share of voice, mind share, whatever you want to call it, those are helpful metrics. Those are good metrics. They are signs of success. But the biggest sign of success is people using the app and moving money on the app, right? That's what is going to drive all the outcomes. So it's good to be a yapper. It's great to be a user.
Nice. Very cool. Okay. Veen, anything else to add on that, or anything that we haven't picked up?
I am someone who was an extraordinarily early, like, Bitcoin faucet adopter of Web3 that was turned off by a lot of stuff in the space, and have just missed it because I was like, the UX isn't there, and I don't think it's going to be what people think it's going to be. And Wayfinder is convincing me that maybe I should give it a shot. So like that's all I'll say. It's like it's converting me, and I was like in the audience of people for whom it wasn't for. You know what I mean? So like that's meaningful when that sort of ideological transition is happening.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, that's funny that you say that. I feel like Parallel is the only reason I'm still in this industry at this point. Like everything else is driving me insane, and I'm like, I am just extremely annoyed by this shit. And if it wasn't for Parallel, I would just do something else.
And like the fact is, like Parallel is doing things that are so good in the space that it's making me happy for the space in general. Like that sounds totally trite, but like that's how I feel about it. So that's the only thing I have to add.
Wayfinder supports all things crypto. So like if you want to do things on Bitcoin, and that's one of the things that is like one of the use cases originally that I thought was so exciting is like, oh, you want to go get Bitcoin puppets. Like you remember when that was like a super hot narrative, right?
Bitcoin puppets, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw those, Tip, but they were like some NFTs on Bitcoin that did super well. And so, but the process of getting them is just like baffling. You have to do all these different things. And so what if you could just tell an app like, hey, get me a Bitcoin puppet, right?
Yeah.
That's the idea. It's like finding opportunities across this like various like, fragmented, segmented industry, whatever term you want to use. It's kind of like a archipelago. Like there's a bunch of different islands over here and like some shitty bridge that's connecting them all, and it's rickety, and if you drive across it you might die or something. But you have like a drone that can fly from all the different islands and pick up the nice things that are on those islands and bring them back to you. That's like what Wayfinder is. And so I think it's super, super powerful for people who have a general idea of what's going on, but don't know all of the nuance of bridging and all those types of things, which I think I would fall into that category even, and I've been doing this full time for like 8 years. Or if you need like basics suggested to you and then want to like go a little bit like a layer deeper than Coinbase, right? Coinbase is kind of where a newcomer is like, oh, I'm going to get my first, $50 of Ethereum or $50 of Bitcoin, or Binance or whatever, right? And then what is that next step? Like Wayfinder is the next step. It's like, okay, well, instead of MetaMask, because this is what I would typically, and I'll just rant here for a second. This is what I would typically tell friends of mine. They'd be like, okay, so what do I do? How do I get into crypto? I'd say, okay, buy 50, 100, 150, $200 worth of Bitcoin, Ethereum. The Bitcoin, just hold it. The Ethereum, transfer it to MetaMask, and then go connect your wallet here, here, and here. And then you want to do, and immediately you can see their eyes glaze over. Immediately they're like, I don't know what you're talking about, right? And it is genuinely bad experience. Versus now, you would say, okay, then just create a wallet on Wayfinder. And now, you can basically access the entire world of crypto from one singular application without needing to transfer to all these different sites, without needing to connect your wallet to all these different sites, because you're like, I don't even know what that means, connect my wallet. What does that mean?
Is that like signing in? What does that mean?
And so they're like, you can literally see their eyes glaze over. And it's like, I would say that I am more or less an expert on this type of thing. And yet I cannot convince people or explain to them properly all of the steps that they need to take. It's just so fragmented and so bizarre, all the things that you need to do to navigate this industry. Now you basically replace all of it with one app where you're like, okay, step 2 is Wayfinder. And that's all the other steps. That's step 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down to infinity is this one thing. That to me is where it's going to be an absolute game changer. I have shown it to my friends. We use the term normies as a sort of degrading term here, but it's regular, non-mentally ill people, okay? Those people who I've showed this app to are like, holy shit, that's awesome. I get it, right?
Yeah.
When can I get access to it? I would love to use it. That's the reactions that I get.
And the thing is, like, if you're looking at what Parallel Studios is offering and what our killer app is, our killer app really is the tech behind Colony and Wayfinder. Like, our IP is dope, our artists are dope, our game is dope. Like, there are things that I believe in, clearly, but like the thing that is our halo, the thing that is our main, what you're going to stake the company on, it is the tech. And I think that, like, where Wayfinder is going to go is, like, I say make or break, but I think it's going to be make. Like, it's going to be absolutely fantastic, and I think it has the ability to go mainstream.
Yeah, big time.
I think it's the thing with the most obvious ability to go mainstream the most quickly.
Yeah.
Right? It's just a no-brainer. Like, if you spend 5 seconds thinking about it, you'll arrive at that conclusion. So it's a great thing to sort of, again, Kalos being a fucking genius, this guy is just sees the future somehow. But while the TCG gets to its point, right, while Colony gets through development, while Sanctuary gets to, an initial release, we have this thing that's coming very, very soon / now that is going to keep and grow mindshare for the whole pie, and will be able to make revenue very soon, and will get us to that next phase, right? And that's what's really exciting, and actually solves real problems in the industry that quite literally everyone has. So
yeah, big time. I also think as well that Kalos, the reason that he can see the future is because he's actually not of this time. He is from the future, I'm pretty sure. Like, it's the only answer really. He's as you say, such a visionary. And
people think he's Gafar in the lore. No, he's the great one. He's the great one from Shroud. He's some interdimensional being. Fierce is asking how to get into Wayfinder. I'll let the chat help you with that. They should all be pseudo experts at this point, D1 yappers as it is. But yeah, I mean, Wayfinder's site will have information for you, but people in the chat can help you with like more nuanced information on that.
I actually just
everybody in the chat, practice your convincing skills right now on Fierce.
Big time. Yeah, do it. Like, grovel for it. I actually just want to pick up on Fierce because we had a situation where Fierce, who's just come over from Hearthstone, is really learning the game and getting into Parallel. He was on my stream and we were sort of showing him some gameplay and explaining how the game works, apparitions and NFTs. And I said, you know what, I'm going to send you some NFTs because, like, when I was first new in the game, I got tons of stuff sent to me as well from, like, Brazilian kid and and it's just tons of people, right? Anyways, I said to Fierce, let me send you some cards, right? And he said, okay, how do you do it? I said, well, you need to have a wallet, right? So we get into this conversation again around like the crypto tech. And it's like, okay, so how do I set up a wallet? And at that point, I thought to myself, do you know what? This would just be so amazing, wouldn't it? This is the situation, the problem where Wayfinder can just come in. You say, right, just go to Wayfinder. Wayfinder will show you how to connect the wallet, and then Wayfinder will do everything else for you, right? You just talk to Wayfinder. And yeah, Fierce, we did get him up to speed a little bit, but I'm so excited for Wayfinder because I've just been a big hater of how disgustingly, as an experience, it's just awful, isn't it? It's just awful interacting with any kind of crypto right now. You almost have to be like a rocket scientist, or you have to have actually designed the crypto to understand how it works, right? There's just no consideration for the normal user whatsoever. Whereas I love that Wayfinder's looking at that.
I see projects like Plants of Crimea, and I'm just like, I'm so glad someone is doing this, because it's just like, to me, exactly what you're saying, like the amount of knowledge that I would have to make that work and to go through the UI of the systems that make that work is just something where I wouldn't get the same level of enjoyment from it. But I'm so glad that sort of thing exists. Yeah,
absolutely. I'm conscious
of
the time.
I'm gonna put this video. Somehow I'm the first one to shill Fierce here. That you guys are embarrassing. This is crazy. You can't let me beat you to this. This video by Ali is a really good. Oh, I can't post links.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, did you just?
Can you tell Nightbot to allow me to do that?
Nightbot's having a go at you. It's all right. I'll repost it. I gotta tell that Nightbot to chill out a little bit. But yeah, there you go. The link is posted there. So is this a video around Wayfinder?
You only posted the timestamp.
Yeah, I posted it. It came through not as a link.
Oh, it didn't, did it? Okay, apologies. Yeah. Let me copy it and I'll do it this time. God, Wayfinder's even going at me, isn't it? There you go. There's the link. Sorry about that, guys. Link's in the chat now.
There you go.
I'm really conscious of the time. You guys have given us so much time so far. I'm just thinking we should try and maybe take it to a wrap up soon. You mentioned
but we owe you a spoil and a giveaway.
Exactly.
Yeah, we haven't done any of the
fun stuff. Yeah, the fun stuff. Yeah, exactly. So, do you want to spoil us now, Veen, with the reveal, the leak? Guys, go crazy for this.
That's BVED's job, and let me make sure that he'll do it.
It is time. Yeah, he's asking in the chat. Is it time? It's time for sure.
All right. Well, you know what? I need to get connected with Fierce and Yoda. I will give you some prompt when prompt comes out. How about that?
Wow, that's amazing. I don't even have prompt right now, to be honest, so that's pretty amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Whenever it drops, I'll send you guys some. But you should watch Ali's video, and it helps you to understand what steps you could take if you felt so inclined. Again, as a reminder, all of this shit is meant to be optional, right? Like you shouldn't ever have to do Web3 if you don't want to in the parallel universe. Yeah. However, there are clear benefits to doing it. And Wayfinder is actually going to be useful to you if you ever want to do anything else involving crypto. So I would recommend it for that reason. Anyway, let's get back to the fun here.
Why is there like steam coming from your video? Are you okay? You're not on fire or anything, are you?
Oh no, I just hit a vape, man. We're fine.
Oh right, okay, cool. I was thinking, God.
Wow, you doxed him, Tip. You doxed him.
Yeah.
You ratted on him.
I was just concerned. I was thinking, God, is there like a mini fire starting behind Veen and he doesn't know?
That's just Veen's permanent aura. That's Veen's energy.
Nice. Sorry, man. All right, so the reveal from BVED is Tanaka Ingenious Scholar. And do we get any more info around that card, what it does, energy costs, its ability? Here we go. There, it's in the chat, guys. So, wanted muster. Create a random card and add it to your hand. It gains withdraw equal to its cost. Withdraw, Veen. Can you just give us a little bit of what it does?
Wait for the rest of the card.
Okay, I'm jumping the gun. Earthen unit. Okay. I love that BVED is just dropping this, like drip dropping it, right?
One cost. Oh, boy.
Yeah. Oh, my God. One cost, one attack, one health. Is it shielded?
Okay.
It's not going to be shielded, is it?
No.
No.
That's the card.
Nice. Okay. So there you go, guys. You have it here first, an exclusive leak reveal. We have an Earthen unit, 1 cost, 1 attack, 1 health, with a wanted muster. And this withdraw is what? Just like
withdraw is an ability that says you may play this card from your bank if you pay its withdraw cost.
Oh my God! Really?
You withdraw it from the bank.
Oh, that's filthy. Okay, that's really filthy. Nice. Wow. So there you go, guys. That is a banger, and that's one of the cards from Deception, right? Just to be clear, that's the next expansion.
A Deception Battle Pass card. So it's It is the next Battle Pass card after. It's one of the next Battle Pass cards in this season.
Oh, okay. So it's not Deception; it's a Battle Pass card. Lovely, amazing.
But it was designed in conjunction. It like we consider it a Deception card. We consider a Raven a Deception card.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, that's so good. So it's the next Battle Pass card, or it's just one.
I don't know if it's the next one or the one after that, but I know
it's
one of the next 2.
Nice. There you go, guys. I'm super excited for that. I don't even play Earthen, but that is making me think about Earthen, because being able to just like withdraw from your bank and it's a 1 cost, that's incredible. Really, really, and it's a rare.
It's a rare, right? So it's 1 for a 1/1, and it is wanted. It just comes with wanted on it.
Okay.
Which means that Raven can plant him. And he has create a card, and it's any card from Parallel, and it gains withdraw equal to its cost, and you can bank the card.
Any card, create any card.
It's a random card. Tanakh is an ingenious scholar. He's studying all of the different technology from all of the other different Parallels, as you'll know in his story when his story comes out.
Yeah, so it could just create a Terramech, right, in your hand if it wanted. Oh, my God.
Wow, that's crazy.
We're going to see some really exciting stuff with that card, I can tell you now, in tournaments. I can't wait to see that in some of the tournaments. Jesus, that's incredible. That is incredible. Thank you so much for the reveal on that, Veen. Guys, there you go. We got a really cool card to look forward to. Also, Raven, just quickly, I'm asking the chat here, how many people have been playing with Raven so far, and how have you been finding it? Let us know, because I've not had a chance yet to put a deck together, but I will be checking her out this weekend. I know that some people are really into it, some people aren't. Like Jeremy says he loves Raven. Speed says I'm too broke, but you could just it's part of the premium, isn't it? You're just gonna have to grind until you kind of unlock her. All right, cool. Fitch Veen, we do still have.
Yeah, well, hold on. We need to figure out what the cosplay that's desired is here.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, that's really so Raven. Now that's a quality reference right there.
Yeah. That is
that's
cool.
a quality reference right there. What's the cosplay we want here, folks? Come on.
I mean, Raven could be included, right?
He said, "Sorry if I'm too upfront." Beer. That's incredible. Oh my God, Blue Core is just.
He's on favorite, it. He always turns up. He's always there in the chat on my streams. He's a good guy. Hello to Blue Core. Miriel, Adira. Adira's an interesting one. Yeah, Adira's interesting.
Adira is an interesting one as well. Malia is also interesting. Yeah.
What about Bella? That could be interesting. I think Bella's a really interesting. Are we going to get a card?
Freitas. I like that suggestion. One of the ladies.
So I did suggest Freitas as well.
Okay.
So that is a possible choice.
Freitas should be an excellent one. Yeah.
Black market fixer. Yeah.
Tabula rasa.
Yeah,
this is like 2001: A Space Odyssey. She's gonna like regress into a flying space baby.
Love it. Mooka's in here. Hello to Mooka. Bora. I mean, I asked this question at Vegas. I said, "What is Bora? Is Bora male or female?" And I think I can't actually remember the answer. I think the guy I asked just said it's a good question.
I was going to say, if you ask me, I would say I would have to ask Greg. I don't know.
Yeah. Memento. Is there anything that's sticking with you right now, Fitch? Have any ideas in the chat? You think that's the
everybody
one?
seems to be mixed in their response. I'm not getting a clear answer here.
Yeah, no. There's a lot of different answers. Freitas was a good shout though. I like Freitas, and I really like Magna as
Yeah,
well.
Freitas was my suggestion. That was kind of where I first went because I love Freitas.
Yeah.
So she already did Saleya. This person already did Saleya, which should tell you who this is if you
right.
remember. This was a while ago though, so I don't fault you if you don't remember that. Do we like Freitas? Like, is it Freitas?
I think it probably is. I tell you what, though, Fitch, you might have started something here because with the cosplay streams that could happen, I'm going to have to probably up my game and start cosplaying too, just to keep up on the stream. I don't know who I would cosplay as though, but yeah.
I mean, there's so many choices. Freitas sounds good. Fitch in the muscle.
In the muscle cosplay.
I need to bulk up. I need some like TRT or something. I'm not near the muscle right now. I'm not even close to the muscle right now. I'm the fat. I'm the fat right now. Muriel. Yeah, okay, Muriel. Do we like Muriel?
Yeah.
Final answers in chat right now. Put it.
Yeah.
One word, just the name. Put it.
Yeah. Domino I like a lot. Hello to Tommy TNT as well. How you doing, man? Domino I really like. Flurry of Genius. Marley is a good shout. Embedded Agent would be nice. Yeah, I like that.
We're getting a lot of Freitas. I think the answer's gonna probably be Freitas here.
The chat's been spammed with Freitas, isn't it? So yeah, I think it's Freitas is the winner. Yeah, nice.
So Yoda, we do have another person doing Shoshana for this. So yeah, okay. Freitas is the winner.
I think we have a winner. Cool. Can
Sounds
we see
good.
the Tanaka art cart, please? Oh, that's really asking for it, isn't it? Tanaka card art.
I don't think that the whole thing is in a state where we can show it right now.
So Pandapple, I think she is going to get a living snake.
Oh really? Oh
yes.
No way. What? So she have a living snake on the stream just around her neck?
Now that's the part that we weren't sure about was the stream. So I don't know if she can obviously have a actual python on stream.
Yeah.
But for the photo shoot, she was like, "Yeah, I would actually try and get a literal snake."
Oh my god! Fair play to her. Wow, I'm petrified. Like I'm petrified of snakes. It's my biggest phobia, snakes. So the fact that you've just mentioned that, my hairs are already raising just thinking of her with this coiling snake around her. Oh my god! Wow. Fair play, brave girl. Nice. Snakes don't bite cosplayers. Yeah.
That's true. They're like, it's like the cameraman never dies type of thing. They just are immune to that somehow.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I that's my choice as well. So I'm glad we like that one. Now, Tip, we do need to do an avatar giveaway.
We do. How do we want to do this? I mean, we could just do. I think just to make it nice and quick and dirty, we could just do a giveaway right now where all people need to do is just type in a word in the chat, and then I can just draw it here. I've already got it set up. Setting up I don't even have marbles, but setting up marbles, and you guys know that if we do ducks, that the ducks seem to always get one up on me because I always just screw it up. It's fun for you guys, but I'm just thinking about making it quick and dirty. So,
I think marbles for an avatar seems great. Let's do marbles.
Let's do marbles.
I don't have it. I don't have it downloaded. I'd have to download it and then.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind.
But I will do it for next time. If you come on again, guys, and you want to do another avatar giveaway, I promise we will do marbles on that one for sure. But I think for this one, by the way, thank you to Lex for the follow. Thank you to Brandon for the follow as well. What we're gonna do, we will just do the giveaway here. The words that you got, in fact, you guys choose the word. What's the word that the guys just need to type in the chat in order to enter this giveaway? You guys pick a word here. Anything.
Oh no! Did he actually lose 4 avatars? That's sad.
Yes, he did.
Wow. Type "That's so Raven" in the chat.
That's so Raven.
Because whoever said that's an incredible reference.
Hold on. Don't do it now, guys. Don't do it now. I have to set it up. So that's so Raven. Okay. All right. That is it. Have I set it up correctly?
You spell it exactly the way Jiraxis just spelled it. But put spaces in there, Gabe, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
It doesn't need
we
to
got
be
to put
all one.
spaces in. Yeah, I'm setting it up for spaces, otherwise it just looks weird.
Yeah, the Here But I'm Gone nailed it. So just copy what he did, and then put that. For those of you who don't know, because maybe a lot of people you don't know, that was a show on, what was that, Nickelodeon, Veen?
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, it was on Nickelodeon.
Is this also something that just we've completely missed because Tip is both too young and too English?
Well,
right. I forget that you are like. There's a lot of people here who are not from America. Or Disney.
Young,
Disney.
Oh, it was Disney.
It was
100%.
Disney.
Yeah,
you're right.
I'm
It was
wrong.
Disney. It was Disney.
Okay. So how comes you? Hold on a minute. I feel like where have I?
Is it
been
with or
then?
without the apostrophe? Did you put with or without the apostrophe? Everyone's doing it without the apostrophe.
Okay.
We need to do all variants. Tip.
Yes,
all
that's true.
variants.
Yeah. Oh God. Okay, I'm gonna. I'm gonna simplify this.
Sorry, I made this complicated. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna simplify this. Right, the word is just raven. Just type raven.
Just
in.
type raven.
Yeah, raven. So, but even though I love That's So Raven, it's just gonna be too complicated. So raven, Ravyn. That is the word to type in. Okay, and if you've typed just raven in, great. You're going to be entered in. So just start typing it now, and then we're going to draw the giveaway winner in a second. I'll give you guys a couple of minutes to do it so that everyone gets a good shot. But in the meantime, what is this That's So Raven? Was this like a show that you guys watched?
I just looked it up, Veen. 2003.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. It's more than 20 years old. But it was a show on Disney Channel in the golden age of like American kids sitcom TV.
Yeah.
And cartoons as well. That's So Raven was great show. Alongside like the Amanda Show, stuff like that before Amanda Bynes went batshit crazy,
Yeah. I feel very uncool that I just missed this completely.
Or Drake and Josh. Obviously that story didn't end very well either. But it started well.
You're right. I am definitely too British. I don't know any of this really. That's fine.
There's a Netflix show on Drake and Josh, but doesn't have a happy ending.
Drake and Josh.
Spoil that for you now.
All right, we're nearly there, guys. So you've got probably another minute to get your entries in, and then we're going to draw the winner. Super cool. Thank you, by the way, Fitch, for doing this giveaway on the stream. I really appreciate it, and I think whoever wins will definitely appreciate it. Remember, guys, you can use these avatars for in the game of Parallel. You can also, of course, use them in Colony, which is the big selling point, really. So if you got one, that's going to be your character.
You can use them in Sanctuary too.
You can use them in Sanctuary, the whole ecosystem.
Spice.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, so all really good. So, all right, I think everyone's typed Raven in. We've got a nice number. I'm going to give you another 30 seconds to do it, and then we're going to draw the winner. Any last final thoughts before we draw the winner, guys, from Veen and Fitch? Anything at all around what we've talked about, or just anything we've missed?
It was a fun stream. I had a good time.
Yeah, it has been fun, yeah. I've really enjoyed it, and I've loved having you on. This is something that I actually want to do a lot more, just having guests come on and we can talk more, because I think it's just way more engaging as a stream in addition to gameplay and stuff. So, yeah.
Goldie asked if these are pewter figurines behind me. They're not pewter. They are plastic, and I painted them.
Oh, nice. Where are they from? What's the IP?
That's Warhammer. Then there.
Yeah.
Oh, you got some Warhammer? Oh,
and then I have Marvel Crisis Protocol.
Oh, nice. Did you paint that one as well?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wait, let me see the Warhammer one.
Yeah.
So, this is my 40K one.
Oh, that's wicked.
And then this is from Underworlds.
Oh, is that a plague?
Cool.
It's a plague chaos
marine. Yeah,
plague chaos space marine. And this guy is whatever the good guys, the Space Marines are in Age of Sigmar. I forgot. Stormclad Eternal, something like that. Stormclad.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know pre 40K. I just know 40K.
Yeah. So I've painted some Tau and some Chaos Space Marines in my time.
Wow,
Tau.
Incredible.
That's an interesting choice.
All right, I think we're ready. So are we ready to do this, guys? We're going to draw a winner right now for the giveaway, the avatar giveaway. Somebody is about to win an avatar courtesy of Fitch. Guys, thank you again so much for coming on. This has been so fun. Let's find out who the winner's going to be. Good luck, guys, and away we go. We're choosing a winner. Oh my god.
Oh, Fierce.
Oh my god. Would you look at that?
No way. That's
incredible.
That's amazing.
That is incredible.
That's perfect.
Wow. So Fierce recently just come on, guys. It's just won an avatar. He's just moved over.
I have no
Parallel.
avatars. Of course, you just started, bud.
Yeah, you
like
just
now
started.
you do.
Oh, that could not have been a more perfect ending. Congratulations to Fierce, man. He's been in my streams regularly. He's a cool guy. He's really enthusiastic about Parallel. He loves it so far. He's only been playing for a few weeks or so, and he's just won an avatar. I'm super jealous of him, but I'm also super happy for him. So well done indeed. Guys, I also want to say a huge thank you to you for coming on. Thank you for your insights into the game, into Wayfinder, Colony, just some of the things that you guys are thinking about. This is the whole purpose of these community streams. And I know that you guys are really keen to keep them going. I think they're well received. We can see that the chat's been fire, hasn't it? The chat's been on another level today.
I've been staring, like I've been listening in my, but I can't imagine that I've been fun to watch on screen because I've just been staring at the chat and trying to type and stuff. So
yeah,
no, you've been good.
That's actually super cool. The Fierce one. That's
it's amazing.
Nice little narrative there.
Definitely, I'm going to be clipping that and definitely make a highlight of that. So, yeah, guys, I want to say personally, thank you so much. Have a great weekend to everyone in the chat as well. The stream, by the way, is not ending. I will, once Veen and Fitch leave, I will continue to stream. I'll be starting a bit of a grind because I haven't done my placement games yet. So we will be doing some Parallel. If you want to stick around for that, of course you can. I'd love for you to do so. But yeah, just want to say a big thank you again to Veen and Fitch for coming on. You guys have been great. We love what you are doing. Keep cooking. And keep up this amazing kind of bond that you guys are building with us here in the community, because there's not really any other game that's kind of doing this that I know, and you guys do it so well, so authentic, and you're so upfront and forthcoming. Like the fact that we can kind of get you to reveal stuff, you guys are just great. So thank you so much indeed. All right, thank you.
By the way, tell Fierce that Brazilian kid can send him Avatar.
Yeah, I'll connect the two. Yeah, I'll connect.
Yeah, and then somebody please pill this man on Web3 stuff. Like somebody help him out. I don't know who's gonna do that, but help him get a wallet if he doesn't have a wallet or whatever.
No, he's got one.
He got hooked up. On stream, he was given a bunch of cards. It was fantastic.
Oh, good.
So like the narrative is even better than you think it is. Like this player was like, I want to play this card game, and because we're Web3, people were able to hook him up with brand new cards immediately, and like give him the experience of like set up a wallet, like go look at OpenSea. And so the fact that now he has an avatar, it's just perfect.
It's incredible. Perfect. Yeah, it's really good. Amazing.
Yeah, this industry is not complete dog shit, just 90% of it.
Mostly, so mostly, right.
We're like the one corner of it that's actually cool and worthwhile and interesting. Yeah. I'm kidding. There's other stuff, but mostly this.
Incredible. Guys, thank you so much.
Done, right?
Yeah, we'll break. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend, guys. And as I say, we're going to keep going. So stick around. I'm going to get Parallel loaded up and we will take it from there. But yeah, thank you to Veen and Fitch. We will say goodbye to them.